Now, coming to you live from atop the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's the one, the only, PoGo.
It's PoGo! PoGo! It's PoGo! PoGo! Pokemon Underground Champions League, oh yeah! PoGo! PoGo.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Puckle Podcast. I'm your host, Trainer Thatch, today with my excellent co-host. We got the one and only Lord Jushiro.
Some say it's Jushi-san.
Jushi-san. And we've got R.Sigma.
Hiya.
And we're here today to bring you another exciting episode of the Puckle Podcast. Puckle, of course, standing for the Pokemon Underground Champions League, a nonsensical name we came up with in 2007, where we talk everything Pokemon, from the trading card game to the video game to everything in between. Though I don't know, like, are we going to be able to physically talk about the trading card game?
You can't buy it, so no.
You can't buy it.
The last 3 sets have been unpurchasable, but
Yeah,
it's okay.
I can't believe, like, how much you haven't been able to buy Surging Sparks. Like, that blows my mind. No, like,
New
it's not
year,
even...
same problems.
Yeah, it's so weird, because this happened, like, 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was probably live, right? Or not live. It was TCG Pocket.
I think it's fueled by Pocket, and it's fueled by there being, like, a couple of cards that are, I don't know, like, okay, so...
I don't think Pikachu's that good.
Right? I don't think Pikachu's a good, like, it's not a pretty card, it's not a good card, and I don't know why it went up to, like, $500, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I see people doing that, and then we just got, like, an Eevee set, so, like, obviously that, like, exploded.
Mm-hmm. Luckily, the only competitive card is Badoo, and that's okay.
Yeah, there's no competitively, like, viable. That card's, like, going for a lot, though, because I think there were a couple
It's
buyouts.
like $2 right now, what I'm looking
Yeah.
at, and it might be higher or lower by the time this episode airs.
Yeah, well, I expect it to be lower by the time the episode airs, because it always drops pretty like a rock that, like, the Monday after the set comes out.
The issue is, like, supply is just eaten completely.
It's
and
weird. It's so weird.
How many people are buying to not open it? I don't know. Like, that's kind of the problem.
Man.
Is it's not a booster pack. It's not a booster box.
Those are the people that upset me the most. The ones that buy it for
I see all these people on
Scalpers. Yeah.
the people on Twitter who are complaining that card shops are like, when you buy
Yeah.
it, you're opening it in front of us. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I see no issue with that.
I like the idea of offering a discount if you get, like, a Pokemon trivia question correct. Like, I saw a good one on, like, no, like, honestly, I think it's a really, I would do that if I ran a card shop. I'd be like,
No,
I'd be like,
I agree.
Who's your favorite Pokemon who's a palindrome? Whose name's a palindrome? Like, I think I think that would, like, eliminate a lot of scalpers.
Yeah. But I mean, there's good things. Prime
Yeah.
Catcher's under $4 now. Like, that's great.
Yeah, that's something. That's something.
So-
Yeah, Prime Catcher's been printed into the ground, so
Thank God.
I am bummed there's no, like, Pheasantipity reprint, but that's fine.
I assume it's going to be in a deck later this year. I hope.
Yeah,
Because you only need one. You
I assume we're
only
gonna get
need one.
something like that.
It's just one.
Oh no, it's nutsos right now out there in the TCG world. So I apologize to anybody trying to play it.
And
Yeah.
wait till the news section. Oh God.
Oh man, it's like what's worse is, like, the next set's going to be just as crazy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because
trainers.
partner Pokemon is super popular.
I do like it, and then they chose, like, the most popular characters. Like, come on, the most popular characters and Hop.
The next set probably has Cynthia too. So, like, yeah,
Mhm.
Hop's there.
They chose the most popular characters to pair with Pokemon plus Hop.
I don't know how Larry's not in one of those sets yet. Jeez.
I know.
How'd we get Iono?
I think Larry's like a cult classic type deal, you know, as, like, a favorite character.
Larry and Iono they're both up there, right? Like, they are.
Yes, I think Larry is as, like, I think the deep lore Pokemon fans are like Larry, but I think the more general I played Scarlet and Violet fans are Iono.
I mean, I like Iono too. Don't get me wrong. She's
Yeah.
a good character too. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
enjoy her. but
I
Larry's
just
cool.
think the more in-depth Pokemon fans, though, are going Larry for the meme. Okay?
Mhm.
Like, that's how I see it. That's how I see it. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Legends Arceus with the Puckle Badge Bonanza.
Mhm.
Oh.
I haven't gotten to the Giratina fight yet. I'm still only in, like, Mount Coronet because I'm taking my time.
I might get there this weekend. Like, by the time this airs, I might be done. Maybe.
I might this weekend because I've got time to do it this weekend, but it's also a 3-day weekend for me. So
MLK Day.
MLK Day. Yeah. One of the 11 holidays. It actually is getting so cold here that they suggested that I don't go to work.
I believe schools are getting closed here on Tuesday for the cold. So
we're at Jushiro, welcome to the Midwest. You don't live here.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm up north. And yet, somehow, not as cold.
No, because you live by the ocean. A
Yeah.
massive body of water retains a lot of
Tasty,
heat.
salty water, yeah.
It retains a lot of heat. And over here...
You know what also retains a lot of heat?
What?
Nintendo for that bad introduction of the Switch 2.
I don't think it was a bad introduction. I do think that a lot of people are giving it a lot of unnecessary hate. I am kind of bummed. I did say this in Discord, so Switch 2 is announced for those of you who are not in the video game sphere as much as we are, but I am bummed that it wasn't as hype of a trailer as like the original Switches was.
where they were playing it, yeah.
But that's what I mean. I don't mean any, I'm sure the console is going to be awesome. I'm going to buy it regardless. It's not that's not it. It's the rollout. And the trailer was very much felt like here.
No, it's just like it's the next iPhone.
People have known about stuff for like the past few months now. Like,
Yeah,
But that's the thing.
so-
Why did they wait so long?
Oh,
I understand it because they didn't want to do it before Christmas. Like,
they didn't want to do it
know.
before Christmas because it would sabotage themselves. They wait till January. They're actually on almost the exact same timeline they were for the original Switch,
Right.
They're like 2 months over or something.
where they have a trailer. This one's not as hype, but the other one introduced me to White Denim as a band. Which I very much appreciate. But you go ahead, you have your trailer, and then 2.5 months later, you have a direct that talks all about it, which is exactly what happened last time. We had a direct in January after we had the trailer in October, and we get a direct that's going to tell us, hey, here are some games that are coming out with it, and also here's the launch date. And my only worry is that the launch date is somehow going to be 2 months after that direct, like it was last time.
That's my guess. It's probably going to be
Yeah.
June because
It's June in my belief. It is June to July, though I wouldn't be surprised with like an August or September release.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised with any of it. Like, I don't really care about launch so much because I'm not going to fight the bots that are going to buy all the pre-orders.
That is
so.
true. That's going to be a nightmare to deal with.
I am gonna try to like go in store and get a pre-order or something.
Yeah, same here.
That's probably what I'll do. Like the day that they do that, I'll probably try to go get a pre-order at like GameStop or something. The last use for physical GameStop.
Yeah, it's like stop
is
the
for me to
bots.
Like the last thing it will do is let me order a Switch 2.
Yeah, the bots have just made pre-orders miserable, so I'm like, I don't want to deal with that.
Yes.
I don't want to deal with that anymore. I'll get it when it's available. Let's go with that.
Right.
I'm not in a huge rush.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that.
It's not like they're going to have a Pokemon on launch anyway.
No, it'll be like a year or so.
Man, the amount of discussions people have had with me over like the past few weeks about whether or not I believe like something Pokemon is going to be related to Switch 2, and I was just like, absolutely not.
Not till next year. Jeez.
There's nothing in my mind that makes me think that Pokemon will be related to the Switch 2 in any form at launch, because Pokemon historically has just not launched on a has not been on a console that is released in that same year.
They wait for a player base to exist, and that makes sense.
They wait for a player base to exist.
Yeah, or unless it's some, very small app game.
It would have to be a spin-off. Yeah, it would have to be a spin-off.
Right, like a really cheap one. Like, what was the one that came on the Switch?
Oh, Pokemon Quest.
Quest, yeah.
I think that actually still came out a year after the launch of the Switch.
Yeah, I remember there was one Pokemon game I remember very close to launch, but it was like this very toned down app type, not even
that you didn't care about.
Considering, yeah.
There was very little. Like, honestly, the Switch at launch was like, it was kind of just like a huge waiting game. Like, you got Breath of the Wild, and you sat there and waited for another game to come out after that.
And then you bought Mario Kart again because there was nothing else.
I did buy Mario Kart again, and I also bought. I did buy ARMS
because there was nothing to get.
Because there's nothing else to get. I got ARMS. I was very happy Splatoon 2 came out like right after that. So.
Splatoon 2 was a good release, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then the Switch was a like the game launch.
It was so slow.
If it weren't for Breath of the Wild, it would have tanked.
Right. Breath of the Wild did a lot of pushing there.
So I imagine the Switch 2 is going to have like a killer launch app, which is probably part of the reason why like there's been a delay in it, because I imagine like Metroid Prime is coming out with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably be on both, but yeah. I imagine it will have updates.
I imagine it'll be kind of like Breath of the Wild, because the Breath of the Wild was on Wii U.
Yep.
Also, I would like to mention that most of like the killer apps on the Switch that were within like the first 2 years were mostly just Wii U games. I mean, it just means that none of you bought a Wii U and didn't enjoy them. Me and 5 other people bought a Wii U, and half of them are in this room.
I was one of the other 5.
Yeah, half of us are in this room right now.
Yeah. I feel bad because like this last week, Donkey Kong Country Returns came out, and that's a great game. I bought it twice at launch. I'm not buying it for $60. Like, again, I have the 3DS one and the Wii one. I bought them both at launch.
I was like, did it come out again? That's kind of nuts.
Yeah. It's the 3DS port, so it has the extra levels, is my understanding.
I'm so sorry.
It's like, I want that game, but not at $60. Stop it.
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion 2 had the same problem last year. It's like, this is a solid game that is not $60.
It did.
Stop.
Yeah, you're absolutely
They're afraid
correct.
of using that $40 price tag.
I think they're scared of making any like Nintendo first party title less than 60. Yeah. Because I think they worry that might like diminish the brand. And to be fair, they're probably raking in a lot of money at that $60 price.
Right. I don't think
They
it's
probably
about
are,
diminishing the brand. I just think that they can get away with it because Nintendo fans will pay for it.
Absolutely.
Like Metroid Prime released at $40 somehow, like the remaster. And I don't know how they did that because that makes no sense.
I'm still waiting for Metroid Prime 2 and 3. Give me the remasters of both of those.
Right. I have them all on my Wii. I have the trilogy. I might go back and play that because I don't trust them anymore.
I bought them on Wii U and I just haven't played them.
Yeah, I don't trust them to release it, so I might just go back and play that waiting for 4.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to have us stop talking about this. This is a very abrupt transition. So, mostly because this is a Pokemon podcast.
I mean, but Switch is right there.
A Switch is
Switch is
Pokemon
important.
Adjacent.
Like,
right.
But yeah.
So just because you like cars doesn't mean you can't talk about the road.
Yeah. That's the best analogy you've ever said, Jushiro. I'm not gonna lie.
They should just be happy that April Fool's isn't on a Monday this year, and we can't do like top 5 Digimon or something. We would absolutely. The next time it's what's happening. All right. Well, with that, guys, we do have some news to talk about, so we're gonna cue up that epic music.
Live from the Lavender Town Radio Tower. This just in.
Welcome to the news. In the news, we've got a few things to talk about. The first being that the Pokemon TV channel has entered the Indigo League. Yes, they are only doing 1 episode a day now.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's still pretty good. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
that's about the pace I expected. I do love that a lot of these old TV shows are moving just to YouTube, so I can just watch their content for free.
Yeah,
it is nice
because Pokemon's not the only one that's done it. Power Rangers has also done it. Another one of my fandoms that I don't participate in the community of because I don't know that I can stand the Power Rangers community.
Yeah, I mean, what community except our beautiful one is tolerable nowadays?
Man, yeah, the Power Rangers community isn't even like toxic. They just ask like really weird questions. It's like the Star Trek community. It's like the Star Trek.
Okay,
community.
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
okay.
where they like ask the actors at conventions and stuff like your character did this during episode 7. Why do you think they did that? And I'm like, okay, guy, like they don't have much else going on. Like at least Star Trek actors like went on and did other things. Most Power Rangers actors just have not.
Right.
The one that's been the most successful actually has been Rose McIver.
Don't even know who that is.
So there's that TV show called Ghost. I think it's called Ghost or something.
Oh, that one.
The one with the ghost in the mansion.
Oh, I thought you were
in the mansion that they're turning into an Airbnb.
Yes, I love that show.
So the girl that can see the ghost in that TV show was the yellow
was in Power
RPM
Rangers?
Power Ranger.
Oh, she's the same one from iZombie too.
Yeah, she was also an iZombie, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's had a very good career post Power Rangers.
It's
very
like
rare to
her
see
and
this
Johnny
happen,
Young
actually.
Bosch.
Johnny Young Bosch is a little bit more under the radar because he just went into like
voice
into,
acting,
like, voice
but that's
acting.
okay. He has like some of the biggest roles in anime.
No,
It's
actually,
fine.
okay, this is a complete aside and has nothing to do with Pokemon, but there.
I mean, you have no one else but the Pokemon Company to
I
blame
know.
at this point.
But they have this new anime that came out in Japan called like the Red Ranger. It's like it's an what are those animes where like you get transported to a different world? I forget what it's called. But it's like the Red Ranger does something. I forget what it is. So there's like a Super Sentai team that their Red Ranger gets transported to a different world. But the coolest thing they've done is all of the Rangers in that show are voiced by a Super Sentai cast member, like an ex like Ranger from Super Sentai.
Ooh.
Oh.
And so I'm kind of hoping it gets a dub in the US and the same thing happens and they get Johnny Young Bosch to do the lead.
Yeah,
would be
that
awesome.
would be fun. Yeah.
I think that would be like a very good like full circle moment because this is like deep Power Rangers lore. The rumor was that Johnny Young Bosch, like when JDF, Jason David Frank, R.I.P. When he left the show in Turbo, Power Rangers Turbo, it was only supposed to be him and I believe Catherine Sutherland.
Okay.
And what they were doing is, if you notice, Johnny Young Bosch is growing out his hair in that season. Compared to
I don't
previous
remember,
seasons.
but I'll take your word for it.
And they were trying to set him. The rumor was they were trying to set him up to become the new Red Ranger in Turbo. But then somebody was like, "Well, it's cheaper if we just hire all new people."
Wow.
Contracts be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you actually pay attention, the Rangers that end up replacing both Johnny Young Bosch and the Yellow Ranger in that season, they are introduced like way earlier in the show than the Red and the Pink Ranger replacements. Because they were setting up only 2 replacements, probably.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that nuts to think about?
Always fun.
Yeah. Oh, either way, Pokemon. In Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the sign-ups for the global challenges open up this week, which means that they will officially announce it for the West, and we should find out if there's any cool shiny giveaways, like a blue Chi-Yu. I hope so.
Ooh,
Blue
I
Chi-Yu
want
would
that.
be really cool.
I'm praying for it. I was ready to reset for it when the game released,
Yeah.
and it was locked.
Yep. Jushiro, let us know about Pokemon Go.
Well, the Steel Resolved event runs from the 21st to the 26th, and that's Rukidi to the game in eggs and Magnet's lure.
Instead of just in the wild. That's fine. A Route 1 bird being limited to eggs and magnet lures. Thanks, Pokemon
Right.
Go.
Yeah.
Good game design.
It
There's
gets
a
better.
Rocks Community Day rerun on Saturday. For those who still haven't been able to get one shiny Rocks, that's your opportunity. And then you got the Unova Tour. We'll have a special tour pass. If you pay $15.
Yeah.
No, that's normal for a tour, but your reaction blows me away. This has happened for the
Okay.
past 4 years, Jushiro.
Oh my god. Okay.
Luckily, I think like Shiny Meloetta is 5 or something. I don't know.
But that's the one when I got temporarily back in and I moved it to Seattle, I took the Miloetta one because it was $5 and I thought that was like, that's reasonable.
That is a
Not
reasonable price.
$15.
Even
Anyway.
10 would be like fine. It's like,
Yeah,
sure.
even if it's a really good Pokemon and you're like, yeah, shiny Mewtwo, sure, I'll pay the $10.
But you know,
15?
those digital keys to unlock it are really expensive to like program.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god. Anyway, a new item that makes your friend a lucky friend. I don't know if I mentioned it was Victini, the event. Sorry, the $15 kind of cut me off there. The event is for Victini and a new item that makes your friend a lucky friend. If you don't pay, you can get a special background photo as a consolation prize, I guess.
Mm-hmm. All right. I guess we're
Yeah.
on to the TCG.
Yeah, on to
So,
TCG.
With Prismatic Evolutions releasing, TCG Live is doing something a little special. They have a rally going to see which Evolution sleeves gets the most play and the most wins. Like if you play with them, you get a point for your Evolution, and if you win, you get another point. And whichever the top one is, they get special cosmetics at the next set.
Oh,
so like
Interesting.
March
I don't know that
27th or
I
something.
care enough about Pokemon Unite or especially the cosmetics in that game.
or Pokemon
to
Live
really push
or
Live,
TCG
that's-
Live.
Oh, live.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm a dummy.
Sleeves, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like sleeves and a coin and special.
I don't know that I care enough about Eevee or about using a deck with any of those cards in it.
No, it's not about the cards. It's the sleeves. You just put the sleeve on. Also, each week there will be different login cosmetics for each Eevee until we're out of them. So that's like 2 months. That's the entire battle pass.
With it being the quote unquote year of Eevee on PokemonCenter.com, do you think we'll get the remaining Eevees in Pokemon Unite?
It's possible.
They have to. I mean, if possible.
I don't know. It's weird.
I was gonna say they have to, but then
it's only the originals, right?
It's only the original
one
3
left
now.
I literally told my friend if I will return to the game when they add Jolteon. I'm still waiting.
That sounds like
I could see it's weird because I could see a world where maybe it's they should do the manga Eevee for it, but that's beside the point.
Oh, they won't, but they're too scared.
They're
also,
scared.
Nobody
but
would
they
get
should.
that reference. Nobody else would get that reference. I'm gonna be honest.
No, but they should do it. They should 1000% do it. That's how you make those Eevees good. You just have to let them swap.
Manga Eevee. Nobody knows what that is. Do you think manga Eevee nowadays could use the leaf stone, and they probably find like an evergreen ice stone as well?
Do you think it would get those two as worms too, like the elementals? Because I don't know.
Good question. I don't know. Nobody knows what we're talking about. Nobody knows what the manga Eevee is. But that's okay. In the manga, Red gets an Eevee with like a genetic quirk where he can evolve into any of them, and it's essentially a Digimon.
Basically,
and it can de-evolve and back into Eevee. And in the manga, there's also a set of 4 evolutionary stones that are like infinite use. And he only takes the 3 that evolve Eevee. He leaves the leaf stone. Like canonically, he leaves the leaf stone, which is they're all in the same place underwater. So he went down and grabbed 3 of them and was like, nah, I'll leave this one. I don't need it.
I'm sure that's a plot point in later manga.
I don't think it is. I honestly
that
don't
feels
think it
like
is.
something you'd go back to, but I don't know. Anyway,
but either way,
we got more TCG news. McDonald's cards are finally coming to the US, and they should be there for about a month. I believe they start the 21st, so they start this week.
Mm-hmm.
So yay, McDonald's cards! Like we needed more travesty getting cards. All right, TCG Pocket has confirmed trading will be locked to any diamond rarity or 1-star card between friends. You have to trade the same rarity.
I think it was going to be like Pokemon Go, where it's something like that.
Yeah. My expectation was you needed like 3 of the card to trade, so it's actually better than my expectation. You also need a resource. We don't know what the resource is. Maybe it's Shine Dust because no one uses it. But
there's so much Shine Dust in the game.
There's significantly more Shine Dust than you will use. TCG Pocket has also confirmed that the new set will release at the end of the month. So we'll probably get a trailer for said set this week.
Woo. All right. Like I alluded to, Puckle's Badge Bonanza is Legends Arceus this month. You still have time to go and play it. All you got to do is, we have 2 tiers of badges to get the silver. You just got to get to Hisui and Lilligant. That's not too bad. And then to get the gold, you have to go to Giratina and defeat it. And just take a picture and send us proof, and you get the badge on the Discord server. You can actually do this really cool thing where you can go on Discord, and you can show off your badges. Like, you could be Gary Oak flashing the badge case. It's pretty cool. I really love it, actually.
It is pretty cool.
It's really cool. I thank you to Boarkey for setting up that bot. It's so cool. You can check your own badges, know why you got them, yada yada yada. But yeah, in Wochian's News Corner, news brought to you at a snail's pace. 10 years ago this week, some random old man riding a go-goat debuted in the anime, and they announced a bunch of Pokken stuff, like a controller, and the characters Suicune, Gardevoir, and Pikachu. I own that controller.
I don't. It looks so uncomfortable.
My wife liked it because she got into Pokken for a while. She really liked it.
It's so weird to see it. It's a fighting controller with a D-pad.
Yeah.
Not a joystick, a D-pad.
It's weird.
It's so weird. Pokken was such a weird experiment.
Pokken
wasn't it?
My favorite part was when they tried to make it happen at Worlds and it just didn't work. Like they had to like almost pay people to come and play it.
Speaking of manufactured hype.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Puckle's Pokey opinion. What are your top 3 Eevees?
Jolteon, and Jolteon.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Umbreon.
Yeah, it had to be top 3.
I think Umbreon only because of the shiny. I think Umbreon's cool.
Umbreon shiny is really good.
I think I think regular Umbreon's cool too, but the shiny like really makes it a good one. I would then probably say Sylveon because it's one of the good ones.
Yeah, Sylveon's my
right.
number one. So,
and then I just irrationally like Glaceon. It's not good, but I like it.
So Glaceon is really cool. It's probably my number 2, and then number 3 is probably Jolteon. I don't know. Something's wrong with.
Wait, what was your
Vaporeon
number
for me.
1? Was it Umbreon as well?
Sylveon.
Oh, Sylveon. Okay.
My second one is Umbreon in all reality, and my third one is Sylveon.
Espeon's really close too.
I like that
Or
we
Espeon.
just completely ignored Vaporeon and Flareon and Leafeon.
It's okay.
Those are just like-
we only had to choose 3.
Yeah.
They ignored Flareon for years. We're allowed.
Right,
still-
we're not the one ignoring them.
they're
Pokemon
still doing
companies
it.
ignoring
They're
Flareon for
still doing
years.
it. All right. Well, there we go. That's the news, guys. We're going to kick it on over then to our Poke Quiz, where we're going to quiz your co-host on their insane Pokemon knowledge.
Oh hi, and welcome to the Poke Quiz, the part of the show where we quiz our co-hosts on their insane Pokemon knowledge. I'm Mark from the Dunsparce Gang, here to explain the rules. Our fabulous co-hosts will work as a team to answer 5 Pokemon-themed trivia questions that fans have submitted on the Discord server. Each question is worth 1 point, with Pokedex and multiple answer questions worth more, for a total of 7 points. The host can use a free hint at any time. If they get all the answers correct and do not use the hint, they can cash it in for an 8th point.
Welcome to our Poke Quiz. Thank you for that intro, Mark. We're going to jump right into it. Our first question this week is going to come to you from Italian Baptist. Which weather condition has the most Pokemon that can set it with an ability?
Ooh.
Oh,
You have a 25% chance to get this question right. So
25% chance.
What about Shadow Rain? Jeez.
Shadow Rain isn't set by an ability. No Pokemon does that. Free hint.
Darn. Anyway, Drought isn't that many.
No.
It might be.
Drizzle.
So I'm thinking I'm on team. I feel like it might be either Ice or Sandstorm.
Oh, Sandstorm.
Because Sandstorm is the Hippos, just Tyranitar. It doesn't have a Gen 3 legend, which is a little awkward. But it does. What was the Sandstorm Pokemon they added, like in Gen 7? I forget. It's probably Ice though, because it's the Vanillish line.
I will state that it does include Mega Pokemon as separate Pokemon in this answer.
Okay.
Well, actually, I don't know if that matters at the end
That
of the
doesn't
day.
really change anything because Tyranitar has the same ability. And
Yeah.
Abomasnow has the same ability.
Now that I think about it, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Kyogre and Groudon lose their ability, so that doesn't even matter. I guess Charizard. It adds Charizard to the pool.
Yes.
So I guess that's another fire user. There's not that many water ones because most of the unevolved water ones don't have the ability.
Right.
Whereas like Snowbird does, or Vulpix does. Vanillish might, I think.
I am going to need an answer here, guys.
So I'm leaning Snow, but
Yeah, I'll go with Snow because honestly, I can't really think. Other than Drought, it's the other
I
one.
can't think of the other Sandstorm Pokemon.
Right.
Snow is correct.
Woof.
Actually, I could see that being wrong because Vanillix technically doesn't set snow because
Too late. We're right.
it
We're
sets
right.
hail,
It's fine.
but
We're right.
Yeah,
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Hail/snow counts with 8. Because you've got Vulpix, Ninetales, Snover, Abomasnow, Mega Abomasnow, Vanillix, Amora, and Aurorus.
I forgot those two, but yeah.
Sand and Sun also get pretty close with 7, but because we get also like Vulpix in there and Snover, it really just clinches it there because baby Vulpix doesn't actually learn it, but Ninetales gets Drought, right? So
Yeah,
it's a whole
Actually,
thing.
I thought Little Vulpix got it too.
Does Little Vulpix get? No, Little Vulpix does get Drought. No, it does.
Yeah.
Don't listen to Thatch. Thatch knows nothing about what he's talking about. All right. You guys are 1 for 1. Your next question is going to come to you from Not Quite the Bot. Which Pokemon, when Dynamaxed, has a different aura than most Dynamaxed Pokemon?
Calyrex. It's Calyrex forms.
Calyrex.
It's really weird, but yeah.
Calyrex is correct. It gets a blue one instead of a red one. And yeah, it
The
does. No,
advantage
it's
of
like
having Sigma
canonical.
on the show.
It's canonical because Calyrex like could Dynamax before Dynamax or something. It's a very weird thing.
I don't know the lore. I just know it was weird.
There is lore for it though. There's like a lore reason why it happens because it doesn't actually Dynamax with the power of like Eternatus. It Dynamaxes with a different power or something like that. But yeah, you guys are 2 for 2 there. Your next question is your Pokedex entry question. And this one's going to come from Bold Big Flank. This first entry comes to you from Pokemon Legends Arceus. And it reads, its face is sturdy, as strong as diamond, and this hardness offers a very stable defense. Much about this species is still unknown, such as its natural habitat. Who's that Pokemon?
Huh.
Its face is as hard as diamond.
Right? That makes me go towards like Nosepass.
Me too. But
or Probopass probably, but
right. But
or maybe it could be Nosepass.
Who has
It's weird not to be talking about looking up, which is Probopass might be a better answer there.
Who has the most punchable
maybe Onix
face?
or Steelix too? Steelix is punchable. It would hurt.
Yeah, but
it does look goofy to where you want to punch it.
I'd say it makes sense for Steelix, and the reason because he digs and he does drill, and the whole diamond tip for drilling. At least that's where I go to.
Yeah, I could see it. Like, I'm okay with Steelix. It has a face like diamonds, and who knows where it comes from because Steelix is a weird Pokemon to exist, right? Because of this metal coat. Yeah.
All right. So Steelix is unfortunately incorrect.
Too bad.
Your next entry is going to come to you from Pokemon Shining Pearl. And it reads, when attacked, they form a wall with their shield-like faces to protect their young.
Oh, this is the...
Bastiodon.
Yeah, there we go. Bastiodon, yeah.
There we go. Bastiodon is correct.
See,
yeah,
we should have found the logic of the most punchable Pokemon.
That would also hurt to hit.
It was also hurt, yeah.
Defense.
But that face only a mother could love.
All right, your next question is your multiple answer question, as always. It has 5 answers here. You have a chance for up to 3 points. And our questions the question is going to be from Stellar Soul. The way this is going to work, because there's 5 answers, if you give me 2 answers, that's 1 point. 4 answers, that's 2 points. All 5 answers, 3 points. That Stellar Soul asks, what are the 5 neutral natures in the game? These are natures that don't boost or do anything to a stat.
Boy, I've been avoiding them all this time, then now I forgot them.
We know Docile.
Docile.
Is one.
You do have to lock them in and get 3 strikes, obviously.
Well, Docile locked.
Docile is true, yes.
Quirky?
That's it.
No.
Quirky is one, yeah.
Oh, Quirky, there we go.
It's correct. It is.
Okay. Oh my.
Did you lock in Quirky? Are you locking in Quirky?
Yeah, lock in Quirky.
Quirky is correct, yeah. Docile and Quirky are 2 of them.
We only need 1 more, right?
No, you
have to mention them
you're
all.
at 1 point right now. Yeah, you have to get them all.
We get
to
a
get
second
all the
point
points.
for another one. I don't think of these often because you never have.
Yeah, you're always avoiding them.
That's why I think it's a good question. I
Right.
think this is a good question.
Like, you see them, you just don't remember them because they don't mean anything.
Right.
They don't matter.
They matter a little bit nowadays because the way it works with the berries that depend on your nature, you'll never get confused if you're a neutral nature, and then you can switch it with a mint.
Oh, there you go. Trying to go through them in my mind. Serious, no. Brave, no. Jolly, no. Modest, no. What else do we have?
Like, I want to say stoic, but it's not stoic.
No.
Hardy.
Oh, Hardy.
Hardy is one.
Yeah,
of them.
Hardy. Log that in.
Hardy is correct. That gives you 3. Are you at 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
We've done Docile, Quirky, and Hardy.
Yeah.
There are 2 more.
Yeah.
Or 2 more.
I don't think we're getting the other 2.
Yeah.
I
don't
can't
feel
give you
bad about
hints.
saying that.
I feel bad.
No, I
can't-
understand that.
I'm not gonna be able to give you hints.
It's for a bonus point. I don't think we care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think we're better saying we're not getting that than sitting here for 3 minutes and saying
That's fair. I will give it to you. You guys got 1 point for that question, so you're 4 for 4. The answers that you were missing were serious and bashful.
Oh, I thought Sirius actually had a stat behind it. Oh!
Sirius does nothing. And the reason there's 5 for those of you at home is because
it's a plus and minus of the same.
It's actually a plus and minus.
Stat.
The way that the natures work is that there's one that will raise a stat and lower a stat, and it's a grid, and the grid actually has ones that will raise attack and lower attack, so it just cancels out.
Right.
And these are the 5. So, yep. All right. Well, you guys are 4 for 4. Your next question is your base stat question, as always. And I'm going to ask this question from Gigasaurus Games. Which fossil Pokemon has the highest base special attack?
Well, it's not Bastiodon.
Right.
I also don't believe it's any of the Galar fossils.
Of the what?
Because those are more physical attackers.
The Galarian fossils.
Oh, yeah, the weird ones.
Like mix and match friends.
Right.
Like Baltbeak and Drake and
they're all physical
Vicious
attackers.
Rend are physical
Aurorus? Amauros?
Aurorus is it's like between Aurorus and Archeops somehow. I don't know how that. Oh, actually, it might be Omastar. Omastar has a really high
that's
special
true.
attack.
Omastar does have a really high.
Like an absurdly high special attack.
Oh, but then that has to be, yeah.
Because it has no speed. It doesn't have attack.
It just has defenses.
I don't think its HP's that great. It has okay defenses, but it might be Omastar. Those are the 3.
Okay.
Because it's not Cradily.
Yeah, I know for sure.
Cradily is middle of the road everywhere.
Are we
Except
locking
for
in Omastar?
Except in my heart.
I think it's probably Omastar.
Yeah.
Because Aurorus is a very high special defense. And Archeops is like 110 or 100, but I think Omastar is better.
Omastar is correct. Omastar has a base special attack of 115.
Whoop!
Lower than I thought. But
Second place goes to Archeops with a base 112. Shockingly very close.
Right.
Higher than I thought, yeah.
And then Aurorus is next with 99.
Dang.
All right, but that gives you guys 6 points today because you technically got them all correct.
Hell yeah.
And you get to cash in that hint. So that does change up our leaderboard for the year. You guys are in a race until November of some day that I decide that is the end. And so the leaderboard is the top 4. Whoever gets the top 4 gets to go play in the Turn of the Champions for a $25 gift card to Red Lobster. All right, so in first place, we've got R.Sigma with 21. In second place, we got Sublime with 15. In third, Claude9 with 14. In fourth, Jushiro with 13. And in fifth place, we've got Sethphila with 12. Linian's in sixth with 8. Shark is in seventh with 6. And Bocephus is in eighth with 5. Everybody else has yet to get on the board. With that, we're going to kick it on over, guys, to our topic. Hey, Thatch here. A lot of you have been asking how you can hang out with us during the week. Well, the best way to do so is come to our Discord server at puclpodcast.com. You can join our server and you can hang out with us, talk Pokemon, battle, do a bunch of cool things, join in our tournaments. So what's stopping you? Come on over, puclpodcast.com. You can jump right on in and have a good time talking with the hosts of the show, as well as the large community we've gathered over the years. So come on, let's hang out. Welcome to our topic. Our topic today is difficulty in Pokemon. And this is in the context of like, what games are hard?
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Not like should we add difficulty like Gen 5's Black, White 2?
I've tried.
Which they should, but you know.
Tried.
They did it really poorly, actually. It was very poorly implemented. I
I have no idea who came up with that, and I hope that, I don't know what, yeah.
I think it's a very weird way. Like, I think the way they did it could be remedied and still, like, have the same energy. But I think the way they should do it is, like, I could see a New Game Plus-esque feature for Pokemon.
Right. That would have been smarter.
That would be nice.
Like, I think a New Game Plus mode would be interesting. Like, I think there would be, you could probably get way more out of a Pokemon game if you were just like, yeah, you get New Game Plus and the shiny rates are doubled.
Okay.
Ooh.
Right? So you get people to play the New Game Plus version, right? All the shiny hunters have to go play the harder version of the Pokemon game.
Right.
They have to learn what actual Pokemon moves are. No, they'd be too much of purists. They'd be purists, and they'd probably need to find like the lowest odd shinies, so they wouldn't go on New Game Plus. They don't care about it. They got the rare version.
Absolutely.
Okay, so which games are hard though?
Absolutely. That's a good question. Sigma was bringing up the case because we've been playing the Puckle Badge Bonanza that like I'm putting words in Sigma's mouth, who is here, but
yes, don't worry about it.
It was Pokemon Legends Arceus.
I don't think it's the hardest, but it's up there, I think.
It's definitely hard, right?
Revenge killing is scary.
Well, we're talking about Pokemon games, so the curve is not that high.
This is also true.
That's true. Yes. Very true.
The bigger issue with Arceus has always been its battle mechanics anyway. Just revenge killing is super common in that game. It's like, oh, I knocked something out. Oh, they have another Pokemon. Oh, I'm dead.
Right.
Absolutely.
Regularly, they 3-on-1 you. Regularly. And despite the 2 on the side being level 30s, that doesn't matter. You're still getting hurt because the defenses in that game don't mean anything.
Yep.
You are made of glass. It doesn't matter. The stats are weird.
I actually found, I mentioned this in the Discord while we were playing, but like, honestly, I found that like really cool for RP, for like roleplay purposes. Like when the game came out, you could definitely listen to podcasts of me trashing it. And I do still think it's like a bad system because I still don't understand easily how it works. It's been explained to me, but it's like Final Fantasy-esque in its complications.
It feels like there should be a bar that it shows you what's happening.
It should be like, oh, if you click Agile, you'll get double moves like with a bar or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like there should be a bar saying whose turn it is. And if you change the things, it shows where you go.
We have that. That exists, actually. That does exist. If you hit Y on the battle screen, that exists.
Oh, it does? Oh, I haven't seen it. That would have been nice to know. Why is it hidden?
It's there. If you hit Y when you're battling, it's there.
Oops.
Whoopsie daisy.
Well, now we know why it was hard for Sigma.
No, they still beat you up. It doesn't really matter if you see it.
It's only been like what? That game came out like what, 3 years ago now?
I might have known about it the first time I played through it. It's been a few years.
3 years? It's been like 3 years. It's fine.
That's a game that came out, it was hype, then kind of fell off, and now kind of like there's a resurgence in like, you know what? It is a good game.
Well, a new Legends game is coming.
No. I never thought it was a bad game. I just thought the battle system was very obviously the weakest point. And I still hold that opinion. But if you're looking at it as not like your typical Pokemon experience, but through the eyes of somebody who like the Pokemon, like in the universe, people are scared of Pokemon. And not just because they can attack you like they can in Legends Arceus, but also if you think about it, like Pokemon battling isn't like quite refined yet either.
No, it's not.
So like a single move could be way more devastating. So and so it kind of keeps me like in universe and very immersed in the world by being like, yeah, battling's weird.
That's fair. That is a fair way to think about it.
It has made me appreciate the battle system more. I don't like the battle system, but I appreciate it, if that makes sense.
You respect what they were doing with it, if that's what they were trying.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot where
I'm actually...
No, that happens to me a lot in games where if there's a feature or not even a feature, it's just something in the game that I don't like, but I'm able to explain it lore-wise in the game, it does ease like my opinion on it and I don't have a problem with it. So I totally understand you.
It's like, I see what you're doing there, so I respect you a little more than I would be just trashing you.
So to take us back to the conversation of difficulty, I actually have a somewhat hot take. I don't think it's a hot take because I think it's factual, but I don't think people are going to be happy with me saying it. I believe that like Gen 1 and Gen 2 as themselves are very difficult.
And
hear me out. Like, I do not accept the answer that grinding means difficulty.
No, of course not.
And so if you play at like a moderate pace, like you're catching the Pokemon, like a new Pokemon or something in the routes, like you see a Doduo, so you like try to catch a Doduo, right? And you're taking the time, you're battling, you're getting XP, you're battling the trainers, yada, yada, yada. You do typically end up like quote unquote under-leveled for a
little bit.
Yeah.
For a lot of gyms in Pokemon Red and Blue. And same with, especially true in Pokemon Gold and Silver.
Gold and Silver's rough. Oof.
The game does have that hidden stat XP mechanic, which really does rebound it.
Boost you.
But nobody really knows about it because it's more complicated than EVs and IVs.
The DV system. Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible. The stat XP mechanic, but it does level things out, like when you have the stat XP mechanic, as well as like the badge bonuses and everything that you get in and red and blue. So you can actually, with some strategy, go into a gym massively underleveled and win in both those games. Because of stat XP, and also because you can play around with it. Like that game, Gold and Silver specifically are like designed for you to go in with a team of like level 50s into the red battle, where he's got like 70s and 80s. Because the stat XP does that much heavy lifting. And you can, if you battle him and you lose, you know what his team is, so you can make that strategy. And it is very doable. It is very doable. But it does take some thinking, which is what a lot of us want in Pokemon games. It already existed, I think. I just don't think we were willing to accept that it existed.
Part of my issue with Gens 1 and 2 is that the starter feels like a difficulty option.
Hey, that is true. Yeah, Gen 1.
In Gen 1 specifically. Is true. In Gen 2, I don't think...
Picking Chikorita's not doing you any favors.
I don't know that that's like a hard option. I just think that Chikorita's a bad Pokemon. I don't know that's like a hard, medium, or...
I mean, it doesn't help that Chikorita's not good, but when the one gym that you're hitting for super effective is the Ice Gym as a grass Pokemon, that's probably not good for you, right?
Yeah.
The first gym resists you. The second gym resists you. The third gym is Miltank, so you're probably dead too. The fourth gym is filled with...
No, Bayleaf is like the best one to have for that battle.
That is true, because it takes the hit.
It might be the best one, but it's still Miltank, and it depends on those rollouts.
Yeah, but it resists rollout. No, it doesn't. Don't listen to Thatch, kids.
Fourth gym is poison types. How great is that? Like, life is really rough for that Bayleaf. Steel types? How does that sound for a grass type? Though I think it does get...
When it comes to difficulty on the Pokemon games, it's hard for me to come up with one. And the only one that I can really think about, although I do agree with you guys that I do agree with Sigma that Legends Arceus is pretty difficult, because I remember dying a lot in that game. I do agree with you, Thatch. It's just that I guess at the time,
they hated him because he spoke the truth.
My 15-year-old just broke Pokemon so much that I just consider it easy. But I did play through them, and I guess, well, I did play through them recently, and I guess you're right, because I did find like some difficulty going through them after so long. I would say the most difficult one is Alola, and I just mean it, getting through the beginning is just the worst.
Actually, not even, okay, so like the first Pokemon game I had trouble with in recent memory was actually Sun and Moon.
If you go into Ultra Sun and Moon blind, that might be the hardest Pokemon game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, beating Ultra Necrozma is not fair if you don't know it's coming.
Both Pokemon Legends Arceus and Sun and Moon have like the one mechanic that I think is what they need to use more of to make Pokemon games harder. And that's like a 2-on-1 fight where you're the one. Because I think that opens up a lot of things, like especially in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, they would like the totem Pokemon would get like super combos, which was really cool, and it made things really difficult. So I actually really enjoyed that kind of thing. The same thing happens in Legends Arceus, like Pokemon can gang up on you, and I do think that mechanic should see a return. Like, I think that mechanic is very good and should see a return in the mainline Pokemon games. Like, I would love to see a Totem Pokemon-esque mechanic. I kind of wish that was how they handled, like, the Titans, where, like, you have the big Cloth, but here's a couple baby Cloths it's got with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
The other...
Because they are very similar in tone, I feel like, the Titans versus the Totems.
The Totems? Yeah.
The other game that I can think of that it's difficult Pokemon wise, and this one might be a cop out just because I'm just generally bad at this type of game, was Pokken. I am terrible at fighting games, always have been, not my forte.
That's because Pokken wasn't like really, it was like a Tekken game with a Pokemon skin.
Right. I tried to get far into the game, and there's a point where it's like, okay, yeah, this is where my skills end. I cannot go past this. So but then again, I don't know how much to place that on just the difficulty of the game and me just being a bad fighting player. But yeah.
It was a very weird fighting system between the two planes. Like, it's like, here's 3D mode, here's 2D mode. Like, that was just weird. That was an interesting choice they went with.
Yeah, if they would have just gone with like a standard fighting game for it, I think it would have been more successful.
More Street Fighter, less.
Than trying like an experimental thing. Yeah. Or even just like more Tekken, less whatever we got. Like they should have just picked one lane and stuck in it. Like that's what they should have done.
Mm-hmm. But I guess,
What's the fan fighting game that came out? It was Pokemon. I forget what it was called. Oh my gosh.
I forget what it was called too. I just remember the Snorlax in it.
Mujin. I don't know how to pronounce it.
No. There's a online Pokemon fighting game.
Oh, did not know that.
Called like it's like something hard. I forget what it's called. It's gonna really burn me. And then somebody is gonna like comment on YouTube like, actually, Thatch, the fighting game you're thinking of that's 2D is actually called this. They're typing it right now. I feel it. I feel that email. It's coming to me right now. 2 days in the future. I can just feel it. Myself is.
They're coming for you. They're gonna hunt you down.
They're hunting me down. No, I think, but I do think like they've been very good about trying to experiment with that lately as well. The difficulty options, that is, like not options, but the difficulty of Pokemon games. I wouldn't say like Scarlet and Violet really did anything crazy.
No, I didn't.
The DLC
was rough, actually.
The DLC was almost there. Like the 2v2, going 2v2 was an interesting choice, and the team the
2v2s with like thought behind them in Blueberry Academy. It wasn't just 2v2s, it was 2v2s with thought.
Yeah, like they did a good job with that. They were almost there difficulty-wise with it. I'm sure some people had problems if you're not used to it. Honestly.
Absolutely. No.
The Coliseum games are pretty hard.
They absolutely are. Specifically Coliseum, not XD.
You just have such a small choice of Pokemon. Like, here's a Furret. Do you know what you do with Furret? Nothing, because it's a Furret.
Small Pokemon pool, and most of your Pokemon don't level up for like the first third of the game. Like, it's pretty rough because they just don't level up.
The final boss is out there using skill swap on slacking. Like, what is happening there? And you're trying to catch his Pokemon at the same time if you haven't used your Master Ball yet? Like, there's a challenge there. That is a hard game.
No, Pokemon Coliseum is a rough game in so many ways.
And that's after you do a boss gauntlet. Like,
Pokemon Coliseum is a rough game.
Pokemon Coliseum sounds like how I would fight with my battle with my nieces.
It's rough because, like, Espeon's the best Pokemon you get outside the legendary dogs. And maybe you're Johto starter, unless you pick Bayleaf. Then you're just out of luck. But, you picked Bayleaf. You knew what you were in, dude.
Who's picking this Pokemon? Okay? It's probably Bo. The answer's Bo. Bocephus, you're choosing Bayleaf, and it's a problem. Choosing Bayleaf. Oh.
One day it'll get a regional evolution, and it might still be bad. Who knows? Decidueye didn't help that much. Decidueye didn't get too far on its regional evolution, so who knows? The other two were okay, though.
Yeah, but what do you guys have any other thoughts on this? Like, because I've kind of spilled all of mine.
BDSP's Elite Four is up there too, but that's about it.
Ooh, BDSP gym battles? Very good, actually.
Gym battles and Elite Four, like, they put a lot of effort into that. People don't love BDSP, but...
I feel like Ilka was told they could touch everything, and they found, like, the loophole about what they were allowed to change.
Like, they're putting... I think it was Gardenia's gym when we were doing the Nuzlocke last year, and I'm looking at the teams, and it's like, why does this Turtwig in Gardenia's gym have its hidden ability?
Wow.
What? It's like, oh, you can't crit it. What?
Yeah, it's rough.
Or the Dripblim that doesn't have an attacking move, so it can only baton pass minimize. Like, it's like or the people who complain about the Aggron that I think Rourke has, because it's got a choice band and one attack. It has head smash. And it's like, they did that.
I think the people who complain about BDSP just haven't played it and appreciated it for what it is.
They did that because that's what Aggron needs to do. You can't trick the AI to using another move. It only has one move.
Like, it just gets a bad rap for only having, like, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, like, Pokemon pools. Outside, like, if you go in the ground underground, it fixes all of that, by the way. You can go get the Diamond and Pearl Pokemon from the ground underground. Or the Platinum Pokemon. So, like, I absolutely recommend that if you're going to play the game. Like, you can go get Houndoom. It's fine. It's a good time. You can go get Magmar. You can get Magby.
I'm glad you specified fire types because that was my biggest anger playing through. Why would you not? You're talking about Diamond and Pearl. How can you not talk about the absence of fire types? I was like, why? There's no fire types in this game.
Did you pick Chimchar? Well, I've got some bad news for you.
Hey, you didn't pick Chimchar and you want a fire type? I guess you're using Pony.
Unless you're playing Diamond, then you can use Skuntank as a pseudo fire type.
You can use Skuntank and use Flamethrower.
That's what it does.
Yeah, what a weird oversight. Like, that whole game is just, it's so weird that they forgot fire types until post-game. Post-game Diamond and Pearl, though, was some of my favorite post-game, not gonna lie. It's some of my favorite. Like, that whole little island, very cool. Love it.
I need to go through it again.
Need more of that.
Should be my next one.
Oh, man. Well, what's the next Badge Bonanza, Sigma, that we're gonna do a gameplay through?
Well, there's the Mystery Dungeon one I'm looking forward to, and then there's XY in, like, May.
I've never played a Mystery Dungeon.
That is a fun one. I'm excited. Do we just get to play any of them, or is it DX?
It's the first one, so DX actually counts for it. It's a remake, right? So it's the same.
DX doesn't take that long to get through either, so...
No, it's a quick enough playthrough. The post-game is massive over there, but it's on NSO as well, and, like, emulating GBA is a joke, so who cares?
But no, I think Pokemon difficulty... I think right now it's in a weird place because I think open world isn't a good way to, like, do it. I think in Legends we'll get the more serious play experience again when we get Legends EA.
Which, by the way, when are we going to see more of that?
In a month.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, Pokemon Day. Like, that's... After we didn't get anything in August, I was just like, so we're just going to find out about it 1 year later at Pokemon Day.
No, that's where I was too. It's like, oh, it's not at Worlds? Well, I guess we're not hearing about it till February. All right.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. It does sound like it's going to come out earlier in the year, though, based on the names of the TCG sets that come out in, like, September.
I'm not against, like, an August or July release, honestly.
It's looking like June or July, probably, is when it's going to come out.
Yeah, I'm not against that, especially when it does. I think competitive games should have released then, too, but that's just me. Like, do you remember when, like, before Sword and Shield, I think it was, they were like, okay, Ultra Sun and Moon is dead. Like, actually, for Sword and Shield, they killed the competitive scene, too, didn't they? I don't remember if they did. They're like, okay, for 3 months, we're not doing it. Well, what if it comes out in August? Then we can do it. But they like their November slot. We'll see.
Yeah, it was weird. It's a weird system. But yeah. Okay. Well, if you want to let us know what game you think is the hardest in the Pokemon franchise, email us at puclpodcast@gmail.com. I think this is where we're going to stop. And so we're going to kick it on over to our Pokemon of the episode next. So we will catch you on the flip-flop.
Poke of the episode.
Welcome to our Pokemon of the episode. Our Pokemon of the episode this week is National Dex number 800, Necrozma, the Prism Pokemon.
Its Pokemon Sun Pokedex entry reads, reminiscent of Ultra Beasts. This life form, apparently asleep underground, is thought to have come from another world in ancient times.
Ooh.
Look at the scary Pokemon.
It's just the hardest Pokemon.
It is kind of scary.
It's the hardest Pokemon to beat in any game. That's why we talk about it. But because Ultra Necrozma, like, one-shots you all the time in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Yeah, it gets an Omni boost and has really good coverage.
I also think it's a bummer that Ultra Necrozma is just kind of, like, locked away forever.
Yes. I hate it. You guys remember when they announced the first time they announced the Pokedex,
the
Pokemon came in the Rotom Pokedex.
Yes. Oh, Rotom Dex. Yeah.
Right, they announced that, and I was like, my biggest pet peeve about the Rotom Pokedex is just that you can't use them, right? It's just a Rotom Pokedex. You can't catch it. So, and the whole point of Pokemon was gotta catch them all, which, by the way, they did drop that.
They did
drop it. But the whole point at that point, it was like, the whole point was gotta catch them all, and you can't catch it. Well, the same thing now happens with Necrozma. Necrozma just can't have it, which infuriates me.
that one upsets me more than like losing like Mega Rayquaza, right? And I think it's only because it's just a different Pokemon entirely, not just like a form.
Right.
I think that's what gets me. Is it's just like yeah, Necrozma's okay, but like Ultra Necrozma is like the true form, and we can't experience that in any game outside of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon ever.
Right. I was really sad that we didn't get at least the battle music back.
Yeah.
Oh,
when it came to
I remember
Scarlet and Violet,
it's so good.
It's so good. I beeline for Necrozma to see if he had his music, and he didn't.
Oh, sad.
Which is absurd because they gave Entei, Raikou, and Suicune their individual musics. They gave Zekrom and Reshiram and Kyurem their own musics, which I didn't even know Zekrom and
That's crazy.
Reshiram had their own music. I was unaware of this.
Wow.
Because it's such a small change.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so, I mean, to be fair, getting to Ultra Necrozma is like a really big process because you have to get like Duskmane or Dawn Wings, and then you have to use a Z move on top of that, which is a very long animation, by the way.
Light that sears the sky. Let's go.
Yeah, it's like I think all of the Ultra Necrozma forms, because they all have like exclusive Z moves, are all stupid long.
Makes it fun though.
Something like
nothing
that.
Nothing can be as bad as Knights of the Round Table in Final Fantasy VII.
That was pretty
I
bad.
could put that thing and go make myself a sandwich.
Hope you ran it with quad magic where you cast it 4 times in a row.
Then you can just have dinner.
And then you click Mimic right after. It's fine. It's all great.
Right.
Necrozma.
Yeah, Necrozma, the Pokemon. I don't even want to go into its stats because like it's not usable. But base Necrozma has a base stat total of 600 with 97 HP, 107 attack, 101 defense, 127 special attack, 89 special defense, and 79 speed. You might realize those are all odd numbers or prime numbers.
Yeah,
they are odd as well because all prime numbers that aren't 2 are.
And that's
odd. But
beast.
Which means it's related to Ultra Beast
situation, right?
Yeah,
okay,
it's like related to Ultra Beast. We should have noticed this, like when we got the games in Sun and Moon, that they were all prime numbers.
Solgaleo and Lunala had the same thing too.
Yeah, Lunala and Solgaleo have the same thing, so they're all actually related as well. And in like Sun and Moon, it's barely touched on really.
Right.
And in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, they really drive it home that like these are also from the same place,
right?
In Ultra Space. And then, like, Ultra Necrozma is, like, the biggest Pokemon I think that's ever existed, with a base stat total of 754, with 97 HP, 167 attack and special attack, 97 in the defenses, and 129 speed. That's so big.
Yeah,
it's so big, actually. I didn't realize how big that was. Man, Necrozma, tell me about it. Has Necrozma had any cards in a long time?
I was going to say, has it had a card since Sun and Moon?
It had a V.
It had a V. It had
a V in E-Block. It wasn't probably good since we didn't know about it.
No, I remember Necrozma being temporarily in the meta.
It was good in Sun and Moon era.
Yeah. There was the baby Necrozma, Ultra Necrozma that did really well in the Sun and Moon era.
Oh, that there was a star. It was a star, a single of.
I don't remember. It might have been.
There was like a white star Necrozma that you could only have one in your deck. I remember.
I do remember.
No, it was a. I know what you're talking about. It was a Duskmane star, maybe.
Yeah. Duskmane Necrozma GX was very good. Like that worked. That did something.
Or was it?
That was a big deck for a minute.
I remember it. Was it a steel box deck?
It was a steel box deck, yeah.
Or was it a Ultra Beast box deck?
It was a steel box deck. It was the last deck I played before Seth got me back into the game a couple years ago. It was just steel box. I had a lot of fun with steel box.
I think Dawn Wings had Russian.
Dawn Wings GX, is that what you're saying? Let me look.
Yeah, Dawn Wings GX had Russian.
Yes, it did. It did have Russian. You are correct. By that he means if it's on your bench, you could just switch it in.
Okay.
It's an ability that some cards have. It comes back. A lot of Pokemon cards end up repeating abilities eventually, like in different formats. The big one that's really recent is actually Hop's Dubwool. Hop's Dubwool, when you evolve it, will acts as like a boss's order, so you can switch one of your opponent's Pokemon when you evolve it. And this happened with, I believe, 2 cards before that. Umbreon VMAX. And then there's a card before that.
Lycanroc GX.
Lycanroc GX did that
Midnight,
as well, yeah.
Specifically.
It was the Buzzrock deck. So it's happening again, honestly, with the double and the...
It's cyclical. It's fine. Everyone's okay with it. That is a perfectly reasonable design.
Pokemon TCG just does this. It just cycles through cards like this.
Right.
Yeah, it's a different Pokemon. It's no longer worth 2 prizes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's cool. It forces you to place Wooloo in your deck. And that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it forces you to evolve Wooloo, which I don't think...
I don't know that I can say much other than, like, fighting it in an Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is hard.
I mean, it is incredibly mediocre without its Ultra form. Like, in doubles, you'll see Dawn Wings occasionally be on Psy-Spam teams, like Trick Room Psy-Spam.
Yeah,
it's okay at that.
I remember in in Sword and Shield era, in VGC, Duskmane, or which one's Duskmane? Duskmane, yes. Duskmane,
Solgaleo one.
The Solgaleo one did see some play because it got really, really bulky. And it could actually... because it was one of the few
damage.
that could resist Zacian.
Yeah, I remember that. And now Zacian isn't a threat, so it's cool.
Yeah, Zacian's not a problem anymore. It's fine.
Zamazenta is a problem, but Zacian isn't. So
yeah, Zacian's not a problem anymore.
I mean, who knows what'll happen when we get 2 legends on a team? Maybe Zacian returns then.
Maybe Zacian
But it's not good as a single... It's not good as a single legend. Like, it can't carry a team anymore. They may have nerfed it too much.
I'm okay with that. No, because I'm done seeing that animation, okay? For Behemoth Blade. I'm just done.
They got rid of the animation too, so it doesn't even matter.
I don't ever want to think about that animation, Sigma, okay?
But yes, Zacian was like a traumatizing Pokemon in Sword and Shield. It kind of ruined everyone's thought of the like single legend
it was bad.
Format.
Zacian was real
because
rough.
It Zacian
just, and the Calyrex forms. Honestly, Zacian and the Calyrex forms. I do not miss that.
Do we had an issue in... Yeah, I was going to say, do we have something similar to that in Scarlet and Moon?
The turtle.
The turtle is pretty big.
Oh, you mean something too strong?
Oh,
Miraidon is absurdly broken. But
Miraidon's very good because Future Paradox like synergized very well with it.
Okay.
And it's just got really good stats.
Like, and it's just got
absurdly good stats.
And Electric Dragon is not a bad type.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And Terra covers its weaknesses. Like it's very ridiculous.
It is a very good Pokemon. It's not Zacian broken, but it's very good.
Yeah.
It stands up there at the top of the meta, or near the top of the meta. In singles, Koraidon is very good too, but it's not. Koraidon doesn't really have as much of a place in doubles. It's like top 7, top 8, instead of like top 3 with Miraidon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the turtle's like top 5, so good for turtle. Let it live while it can.
All right. Well, that's Necrozma. I'm just gonna do it there. We're just gonna end it. All right, guys. Look out for a new format of this segment coming in like the next couple weeks. All right. Well, with that, guys, we're gonna kick it on over to our mailbag where we're gonna read some emails. So let's kick it on over to that.
It's mail time. It's time for the mailbag. Send in your emails.
Welcome to our mailbag. The mailbag is the part of the show where you can email us at puclpodcast@gmail.com and we might read your email on the show. As always, though, this segment is brought to you by the fictional energy drink Green Tauros, the energy drink that gives you hooves.
Hooves.
And as always, we'll give out the Green Tauros badge if you inspire conversation. We'll see who gets it. That being said, we've got a few emails. Last week, we asked you what Pokemon you would bring into the emergency situation.
That's a good question.
Or would hope you would have on hand. Yeah, it's a weird question, and it got a lot of responses.
Because it's a good question. I would have responded, yeah.
I was afraid this topic was too niche, so I'm happy that it got responses.
I was afraid this topic would, like, not do well, but I think it performed the best out of anything we've done outside of a top 5 in a very long time. So more like this, please. All right. So yeah, Jushiro, you're going to go first. Our first email is going to be from Squid.
And he says, I'm just going to jump straight into this one, Puckle, so get ready. You'd feel like an obvious answer is Arceus, right? No situation is too much for you to handle because you brought literal God with you. But that's where you're wrong. Instead, let me pitch you the following scenario. You're trapped on a desert island. That's very specific. And when you always start, Wait, let me picture this scenario. It's kind of quirky, but let's go through it.
Turns out it's the movie Torterra.
You're trapped in a deserted island. Luckily, you brought your trusty Armorage. Okay. With this fire attacks, you're able to keep warm. Together, you two bond over fun stories around the fire. Eventually, you're working in unison to hunt for food and learning the fundamental truth of the universe. All is one and one is all. Your Armorog says that you survived for 30 days and earned the respect of your teacher. Seems like a clear-cut answer, right? Well, you're wrong again. That was actually the plot of episode 2 of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood that flashed through my brain as I died of exposure because I brought the Armorage to the Sedai Island.
I was gonna say...
That's right. It was a double fake out. The actual obvious answer is Abra. It does one thing, teleport. Teleport you to the last Pokemon Center you visited. Call me crazy, but I think the Pokemon whose one gimmick is delivering you directly to free healthcare takes the cake on this one. Cheers, Squid. Okay, I 100% agree with this man.
That was good.
100%.
I'm all for it.
I was gonna say, like, all the things that you say that Armorage are doing for you on that island, Arceus could have done easily as well, but you fixed it.
That's not true. He has to feel like it. What if he has an attitude that day? I mean, he just...
But yeah, free healthcare, only Abra and Diglett with Dig can take you there. And Diglett, you still have to walk because it only brings you to the entrance of where you are. You imagine you having an emergency at your home and you have Diglett and Diglett use Dig and you end up just at the entrance of your home.
Yeah, but there's a hole now.
Anyway, thanks, Squid, for that email.
It's better for the basement.
All right. Thanks, Squid. We're going to move on to this next one. I get it. From Backstein. Hello, Thatch and Co. So I'm not entirely sure what emergency situations I could find myself in. So I'm going to take this in a weird direction. As an avid golfer, I'm going to try and pick a team that can help me out in an emergency situations at a golf course. Number 1, Alolan Marowak. The only genuinely scary situation I've ever found while playing golf is being miles away from the clubhouse during a thunderstorm. So the best answer I can find is having a lightning rod Pokemon to draw all the lightning away from me, and Alolan Marowak is my favorite. Number 2, Braviary. Okay, this isn't quite an emergency, but losing golf balls is extremely annoying and can get quite expensive quite quickly. With Braviary's keen eye, I'd never lose a ball again. Also, having an eagle on the team can only bring me better luck.
Hear me out. Hisui Braviary he can see the ball and then get the ball with the psychic powers.
Much better than Braviary. Upgrade. Number 3, Altaria. I was considering Rayquaza for this spot, but it felt like it might be too intimidating to play in front of.
Yeah, it seems like overkill.
Nobody enjoys playing golf in adverse weather, so having a partner that can clear the weather conditions to ensure I always get to play in good weather would be amazing. Cloud9. Also having you just have a Psyduck. That would be annoying, though. It would mess up your swing. Also, having a fluffy partner to relax to in case of slow play would be nice.
Golf slow play? Don't tell me. Is there such a thing? I thought it was all slow.
Number 4, Referroom. There is so much pressure on greenkeeping staff, superintendents in USA, on maintaining a high standard of golf course and the mowers, and things can frequently break. Having an alternate and reliable engine to help everything continue running smoothly can benefit everyone. Number 5, Zangoose. Now, this is a very niche scenario.
This whole conversation is a very niche scenario.
Yeah, I think email.
So. Anyway.
It's a niche of a niche. It's fine. It works out.
Nobody else is making this list, by the way. Like, you ever think to yourself, like, what is a string of words that has never been done before? It's this entire email.
Yeah, Pokemon I need for golfing.
This is it. This email.
When I went to Arizona to play, we saw several warnings to stay out of the wasteland areas due to snake. Bringing along a natural hunter of snakes to ensure I can go anywhere on the course would help me stay safer. Number 6, All Creamy. Have you ever found yourself without having a meal before your round?
Oh no!
You make the turn back to the back 9 and your stomach is growling. You're just so desperate for a sweet treat to keep your energy levels up. Here comes All Creamy to the rescue. I would have loved to have a space for a healing Pokemon for any injuries occurred, but I definitely prioritized having sweet treats. Thanks for reading my randomness, Backstein. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good list. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know. I'm will always be cautious of anything from Pokemon. Even Milk Tank, the milk from Milk Tank, I'm sus on.
Yeah, don't blame you.
Well, that's your own fault for not getting the bottles when they were selling them like last month in Japan. You could have gotten the Moo Moo Milk bottles. They came with they came out at the same time as the Golden Ho-Oh and Silver Lugia.
All right, our next one is going to be from Reptile, and I believe you get this one, Sigma.
Yeah, it's the latest trend, Buckle Friends. Reptile here. Emergencies come in many shapes and sizes, and Pokemon will certainly help with many of them. But as with many people born in the mid to late 90s, I unfortunately had a zombie apocalypse survival phase growing up. Yep, I remember that.
I also thought quicksand was going to be a much bigger problem.
I remember. Yeah, right. I was prepared for all the quicksands that I was going to encounter in life. But yet again, Cartoon Network straightened me wrong.
What a weird trope that cartoons used in retrospect. One guy must have done it in an episode and every cartoon copied it.
Right. And then
it's like, that's such an easy thing to do. Okay. Even today, I find the idea of urban survival an extremely interesting topic. So I have embraced my past cringe and decided to consider which Pokemon I'd most like to have on me during a zombie apocalypse in a major urban area.
Yeah, that's an emergency, all right.
Considering basic survival needs.
Cardio. It's always the cardio.
Food, water, shelter. Shelter and signaling for help. While also having to consider avoiding the hordes of the undead. Here are a few standouts that caught my attention, which means Chimico is not on here, right?
I would think so.
Chimico just tells the undead where you are. That's all it does.
Right. I would guess you will not want a Chimico.
Number 1, we've got Shuckle. Naturally growing food is going to be hard to come across, and anything that was around for the fall of civilization is going to be spoiled as heck. So, we need a Pokemon that can help us produce our own food. Luckily, Shuckle is here to save the day with his delicious fermented berry juice.
But he needs berry stills to do that. He doesn't create the food.
I mean, he's fermenting stuff in there.
Right, but you need to have the berry.
Yeah, but he needs to have the berry. You have to insert a berry into it, though.
Alcremie does create its own cream.
I agree with you, sure, on this.
But Shuckle needs berries to create his juices. And if you're in a post-apocalyptic place where you can't find berries, you're pretty much stuck with a turtle that is heavy.
I'll push back and say you might be able to find berries.
Okay.
You can find berries and he'll purify them, probably.
Or you find the spam equivalent of berries, like preserves.
Don't get me wrong, I would also have a Shuckle, but that would be for the fermenting and alcohol part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, Shuckle did have the first ability in the games. Anyway, delicious fermented berry juice that produces inside its shell. Delicious, energizing, and sure to keep scurvy away. Plus, in case of an attack, Shuckle is extremely resilient and can take a few scratches or bites from the brain-sucking masses. That's true.
He can. He can't do nothing about you.
I have the gif of the Gibble trying to eat the Shuckle still.
The Chuckles are going to be real safe. You, on the other hand, ain't going to get eaten.
All right, number 2, we've got Timber. It's said that these Pokemon appear at construction sites and help to build things. So who better to spiff up your base of operations? Just make sure they don't accidentally lock you in. Number 3 is Rotom. Obviously, in a dilapidated urban environment, there's going to be plenty of broken down, non-functioning electronics lying around. From motorbikes to power generators to a radio signal to the outside world.
Heck, I'm from Puerto Rico. We don't have a zombie apocalypse going on, and we still need Rotoms.
To tell people that you're still there. Rotom will prove to be a powerful and invaluable ally in the fight for survival. Number 4, we've got Sliggoo. Sliggoo doesn't have ears or a nose, and its eyes barely work, but its antenna make for excellent sonar system. It can detect sounds and smells and alert you if something is near your base. Or, I was curious on where this was going to. Or approaching you while out scavenging. Plus, they're soft and friendly and cute. Though, now I'm also reading that Sligoose has trouble differentiating between friends and food, and will casually try to melt and eat even those it gets along with. Is that why my Sligoo is crawling all over me? Hey bud, that tickles. Best wishes, as always, Reptile.
Nice, but he forgot one Pokemon to add to that, and it's Inteleon, because you need to get those headshots.
Yeah, Sniper goes a long way.
All right. Well, thank you for that, guys. I think I want to give it to Backstein for the golf.
I want to give it to Squid.
The golf was crazy.
I want to give it Squid. You make me laugh with the Abra. You're the tiebreaker.
Oh, you want to give it to Squid? Okay, Sigma, you're the tiebreaker.
I mean, can't we just give it to both since there's nobody with the badge yet?
Yeah, here we go.
We can. Yeah, done. Easy. Done.
We got to populate the channel. It's fine.
All right. And next week, if you want to email us, you can let us know what Pokemon game you think is the most difficult and why. Send that into puclpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to keep up with us throughout the week, you can check us out at pucklediscord.com. Additionally, you can follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky. You can also go ahead and follow us over at YouTube at youtube.com/pucklepodcast. You can go ahead and check out our Twitch at twitch.tv/thepucklepodcast, where I stream every Wednesday. We'll make sure I need to make like a new middle commercial and like make sure that that's in there. And then of course you can go ahead and you can help support the show over at our Patreon at patreon.com/pucklepodcast, where you get exclusive access to ad-free versions of the podcast over there. Additionally, you can also get we're going to do a lot of experimental content over there. So if you're over there, you'll get it. We also do merch. We're going to have a new t-shirt here for the $20 tier upcoming in March. So I'm very excited for that. Or maybe not a t-shirt. I think we decided maybe like a beer glass or something. I think we're talking about that because we're going to do a t-shirt in June. We've got a cool t-shirt lined up.
Oh, yeah. I remember that discussion.
Yeah. So with that, we are going to go ahead and end the show. I have been Trainer Thatch.
Some say I'm Jushi-san.
And I've been R.Sigma.
And here in the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's closing time.
Flip side.